Hi, my name is Robert Walker, and the topic I'm doing is sentencing disparities based on race. So, for my summary, my research topic was conducted on sentencing disparities based on race. My topic is basically what the definition for my research is. It's pretty common. The purpose of this research was to correlate jail/prison sentences based on factors involving race. This topic is rarely examined and is considered to be a minuscule issue inside of the CJ system. The study research variables such as term length and race. During the analyzing stage of the research, I was looking for any differences in time served or given between African American individuals and their counterparts. The characteristics of my topic was the topics that I researched are race and time, along with different cases that took place in the United States. The topic is about how disparities can ruin a person's life on a major scale due to racism being a part of a system that is supposed to protect individuals and give the same consequences to all individuals regardless of the color of their skin. The reason why we as people should care is because we are all affected in one way or another, believe it or not. What if you have a friend or a family member who is victimized to racial sentencing disparities, or maybe one day you may marry someone out of a different racial background and you want them to be protected and treated fairly if they were to get entangled in a situation involving lights or maybe even doing something out of duress and still gets time when you or people you may not even when you or people you know may not even step foot in a jail cell. The scope of my topic, how big of a problem it is. My topic is not a widespread problem that is covered like other topics in the CJ system. However, the problem is a very, very big problem. Considering how many black people are in jail right now when they could be dropped of all charges or on parole like most of their counterparts. I have charts and statistical evidence which I will provide on my visual aid to show proof of exactly how broad this topic is and why it needs to be addressed on a much larger scale. I believe the more people become aware, the easier we'll be tackling this problem. So evidence. So for the first set of evidence, the argument is that black people are still being convicted more than whites when it comes to drug and property crimes. This rate is continuously growing at least 1% each year. It will not stop. Researchers say there is starting to be a drop in imprisonment, but the rate itself is still at a pretty high percentage when it should be much lower than what it is. And then the evidence, backing that argument is there are stages, according to criminal justice researchers, which helps determine how long a person will remain behind bars. Also, prosecutors seem to tack on additional charges for a black drug crime defendant than that of their white counterparts. Additionally, prosecutors also fall back on prior convictions and will utilize a person's rap sheet to keep them in jail much longer than the standard norm for petty crime. However, most states follow the same guidelines as those prosecutors as well. This evidence is not shocking considering the representation shown to you in the visual aid listed below. Down below in my visual aid, I'll have a representation of that evidence to support the argument. So for the second piece of evidence, some researchers are not on the same page as others. Researchers for this piece of evidence believe that racial sentencing disparities are not a real issue. Hence, this is why so many people do not take this topic seriously, even though there are a plethora of different studies highlighting that disparities do indeed exist. Many researchers are not complying or in, inclining to believe this is really a problem. Um, the evidence to back that is researchers point out there are much more white males than blacks in the U.S. to virtually make racial sentencing disparities impossible. That, however, the evidence listed in the aforementioned research example proves that the numbers are in fact not always important. Moreover, these researchers say the evidence presented in most studies do not have enough information to give an accurate depiction, even though charts and statistical tables, such as the one below, shows the severity of this problem. The research says the government has not put out any records showing a major difference in arrests. However, in my final paper, it was noted the government does not want that info issued to the people to prove the criminal justice system plays a role in the negligence of black prisoners and individuals. Some real world case examples or some case studies. Um, some real world examples revolving my topic are the crack versus crack cocaine disparity. That is This example is the most commonly used and recognized issue that aligns with the topic of racial sentencing disparities. Another real world example would be the marijuana effect. The marijuana effect is a black person having the same amount of marijuana as a white individual and is given a much lengthier prison sentence. Furthermore, this is just a small piece of case studies that are out there in the world. There are article after article regarding the same examples of the marijuana effect and the crack versus crack cocaine disparity surrounding different people of the same racial background. And then listed below is my visual aid. Listed below is a photograph of one of the many statistical charts showing the significance of racial disparities in the United States between black and white males. The chart is showing how big of an impact that disparities have and how it has an effect on our CJ system. This chart shows the hundreds of thousands of arrests per marijuana drug arrests. Consider 100,000 compared to only a few hundred. That number is massive considering how black people only comprise 12% of the entire United States population. And then here is the marijuana possession arrest rates by race. And then, the yellowish colors for blacks, and then the blue colors for whites. And then it's going by hundred thousands, and it's from 2010 leading all the way up to 2018. Now that's an 8 year span, and these are hundreds of thousands of arrests per year. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you gained some information. Thank you for your time.